Okay, the Student Transitioning Support Officer. His duties will be composing, disseminating, and updating literature and e-resources to international students uh, that offers guidance on financial, academic, and other practical matters, and collaborating with the international student unions of the various university departments, for example, the FOE, International Student Union, to set up forums on transitioning. By gathering information from students, by through the help of the data collections officer, immediate forums can be set up instead of just printing literature, where students can come together and certain topics can be discussed. Maybe there could be greater influence at a greater level of efficiency if information is provided and there's a forum for discussion about certain information. And this will aid students much better than hoping that maybe they'll be in the right WeChat group, or just hoping that students will just share information with each other without possibly the quality of that information deteriorating from person to person. Um, um, we just want to create a more organic, intimate experience than just sending student links and sending students emails. And a good example of that is oftentimes there's conferences and other or speakers who come to BNU, and you might not get any word about their arrival until maybe a week or 3 days before they decide to speak. So um, this could be a better chance to let students know about upcoming lecturers and stuff too. All the things that can help them have a better academic experience here. All right, the Student Family Support Officer. Um, he or she will establish links with local real estate agencies, for example, Lianjia, which is a really large real estate brokerage company in LTD, um, um, or limited, the LLC, I guess, version, LTD, which would be a version of LLC in China. Anyway, to find English-speaking agents who can assist with locating apartments for students who are parents. Um, Also to establish local daycare centers for students who are parents and assist with referring clients to these centers. And also regularly updating the suggestion list so that students can take into account different factors um, about whether or not to engage in these different daycare centers, such as distance from home and school, and of course the price. Student psychologist offers psychological guidance to students in need and assists students in overcoming problems that can interfere with student success, including eating disorders, learning problems, substance abuse, parenting issues, or to manage the effects of a chronic illness. Okay, let's move on to how we prioritize our objectives. Now, this is very important because how we prioritize our objectives could can prevent us from misfunding certain segments of our organization in times where we need to redistribute our funding in reaction to a decrease in our budget. So let's go over that. Although individual and non-academic factors play a role in student success, because we operate within an educational institution, we believe that we should give precedence to objectives that most explicitly correspond to academic needs. Therefore, in fiscal years in which austerity measures may need to be implemented, ISSS budgetary decisions will be based upon objectives ordered as follows. All right, so we have the least important, the lowest priority. At the bottom, which would be providing transitional support to students with children. Because in the end, whether if students are parents or students are not parents, their most important role for school is to be students, and we cannot assume that our highest priority is assisting with more what would be called, I suppose, social service type of, or even have the funding for it in these cases. So that would be the lowest priority, even though it's important to us. And our highest priority at the top would be implementing evaluation services, because that's where the data is. That's what's going to give us feedback about the quality of the international student experience. Okay, and then, so as you see below that is establish a formal grievance process, disseminating informative literature, and improving accessibility to psychological counseling. Now, the reason why the psychological counseling service went so far toward the bottom is because having an in-house psychologist might prove to be too expensive in some future time frame. And so we still would like to maybe provide a referral service to available psychologists if that were to happen, and also offering psychological support and offering transitional support services kind of splits us in two different areas. And so in the end, our main focus would be probably more on transitional support and for international students. So we don't want to present ourselves as psychological support being our primary target or primary service. And not to mention, unless there's a lot of bad issues going on, we don't see why that a constant investment in psychological support would be necessary. And of course, as years go by, things change. This prioritization might be adjusted, but we believe this is the best structure for our priorities at the moment. Okay, so moving on. Let's discuss how we will measure success. So for the first year, our success could be measured in terms of student awareness. So we really want to get our name out there in the first year and let students know that we're a lifeline available, someone who can be turned to for information that may not be able to be provided by ISO or some of the other departments. We're going to issue surveys at the end of the fall and spring semester, which will be something we'll do every year, but the first year will be really important, and our data collections officers can help us in creating a survey that is inclusive of more information to help us get off the ground and have more data to work with. Anyway, to help us determine if students are aware of the various services we offer. So no point in offering these services if no one knows about them. And we would like to meet a 40% response rate of the 1,800 students, or the 7% rolling amount that we'll use of total student body at BNU. Sorry, PowerPoint error here. Okay, for our long-term success, could it be measured in terms of positive changes in the likely to recommend Likert skill scores we have on our surveys, and increases in doctoral students publishing papers, which is a spillover effect to university ratings and professor evaluations. So that's another thing that's sort of in it for BNU. We're not here just to offer support for support's sake. We believe that there can be measurable ways in which our organization could help out BNU in the future. One is through improving the reputation, so like the likely to recommend means that students who graduate would be more likely to say, hey, you want to apply for a college in China, you want to apply through the government scholarship program, try out BNU. There's a great environment, very supportive. I learned a lot there. You will feel like you are more competent after you leave the school. These are good things that could help bring in more students, and in the case of international students, bring in more tuition funds via the China Scholarship Council, the CSC scholarship that most international students come here on. And so an increase in doctoral students publishing papers, well, that goes into how some of the college ranking systems, the global college ranking systems, and maybe some of the domestic ranking systems involve how much professors publish papers and how much the school in general is publishing, and so that has a positive spillover effect on the ranking system of the school. So maybe we could rank higher. Who knows? All right.